This is a romance scam on steroids. We have not seen one like this in recent history.
It's a shocking alleged love scam spanning 2 countries with bombshell twists. The woman at the center of it all, accused of luring men in their 60s and 70s on dating apps, drugging them, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
4 victims identified in the indictment. 2 of the 4 are from Nevada. 3 of the 4 are deceased.
Scams, fraud, and even those that use dating apps are nothing new. But this particular case, this was jaw-dropping.
It's folks that are out looking for love that ran into something far more sinister and that never intended to get involved with somebody in this way.
43-year-old Aurora Phelps of Las Vegas is sitting behind bars in Mexico awaiting extradition. The dual U.S.-Mexican citizen is accused of using multiple aliases, traveling between her 2 homes in Las Vegas and Guadalajara to allegedly target her victims.
Whether or not she had help, we don't know. It remains an active, ongoing investigation.
The FBI says the alleged scammer used dating apps like Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, and others. And investigators say from July 2021 to December 2022, Phelps met several men, sometimes drugging them, then accessing their financial and other accounts without their knowledge and consent.
So what's somewhat unique about this particular romance scam is the level of intrusiveness, meeting the victim, drugging the victim, and now they're inside their house, the person's incapacitated. I've not really heard of a scam that gets this personal and this deep, and in particular, this devious.
Among the charges so far, multiple counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, identity theft, and 1 count of kidnapping resulting in death. Prosecutors say that Phelps kidnapped, abducted, and carried away one of her victims and held him for ransom.
We believe Phelps kidnapped one of these victims by heavily sedating him and pushing him across the U.S.-Mexico border in a wheelchair due to his inebriated state. Phelps then took him to a hotel room in Mexico City where the victim was found dead.
The indictment also says that Phelps allegedly got into one of her victim's E-Trade accounts and sold Apple stock worth approximately $3.3 million and unsuccessfully attempted to remove the $3.3 million.
Of the 4 alleged victims, according to the FBI, there's some overlap on Phelps's part. That while she was swindling and using the credit cards of one alleged victim, she was preying upon another and doing the same.
One of her alleged victims survived, the FBI saying he suffered a coma.
The one living victim mentioned in the indictment survived and emerged from a coma after Phelps administered large amounts of prescription sedatives to him over the course of a week.
Romance scams are big time unreported. The FTC estimates that the loss in 1 year from romance scams is over $1 billion. And so who else out there has died, has been scammed?
While the FBI continues their investigation into Phelps, other Americans are speaking out about being scammed in non-lethal ways by online love fraudsters, like Julie Erickson.
He was a very, very good-looking man. I was attracted to him.
Julie was looking for love online and found it with a man named Mark, who told her he was working overseas. They would email and talk on the phone for hours, Mark eventually asking her for money. In the end, Julie telling my colleague Aurora Phelps she lost nearly $500,000 to this online scammer.
Crushing. Absolutely crushing. I was suicidal. I cried a lot.
Have you ever found out who the real Mark is?
No. Tried, but never have.
Another romance scam victim, Liza Likens.
He wrote a message that he was getting ready to retire and he was looking for someone to get married and be his partner.
Telling my colleague Ashin Singh she was duped by a man named Donald who used false promises and fear tactics to trick her.
How much money did you actually end up sending?
$1,023,000.
In reality, the man calling himself Donald stole this man's photo and pretended to be him. At one point, Donald told Liza to send him $250,000 in bail money because he got arrested while transporting a safe he said was filled with $700 million in gold and cash.
This is the one that when he told me they had taken him to prison in Spain, and he said this was taken from the prison on a break, and it's him holding a Post-it, and one of his nicknames for me was Lulu.
You had no doubts about this photo?
Nope. I thought it was real.
In Aurora Phelps' case, large sums of cash are also central. The indictment noting that she allegedly transferred money multiple times from one victim's bank account into her own account and her husband's bank account. Another one of Phelps' alleged victims was found by police on the bathroom floor of his home in Mexico. If convicted on every charge, Phelps could face a maximum sentence of life behind bars. She's also facing robbery and kidnapping charges in Mexico, authorities saying she was using the same methods in Mexico to target men. And the FBI is now asking for help in identifying any other potential victims.
We are here to enlist the public's help to identify potential victims of what we believe to be a sinister and far-reaching romance scam. The FBI has become aware of multiple additional potential victims, male and female, both in the United States and Mexico.
Typically, the FBI get involved in cases where there are multiple victims across state and country lines. The cases actually can be easier to investigate on a federal level because of the multiple jurisdictions and the movement of money.
The problem with dating online, while it's a wonderful medium, is you just don't know who's on the other end.